Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today we're going to be going over the new Malice archetype. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. I'm really excited to go over this new archetype with you guys, because this is the final archetype reveal for Crossover Breakers, the new deck build pack. And this archetype looks absolutely phenomenal, which is actually based on Alice in Wonderland, which is super cool. But let's go ahead and check out and see what these cards actually do. And again, we're going to be getting these cards in Crossover Breakers. So for the first one, we have Malice Pawn White Rabbit, which looks absolutely phenomenal for the artwork. I really love the artwork of this archetype so far. It looks really cool. I love the borders around. It makes me think of Lightsworn, but like digital versions of Lightsworn, which is really cool. Or maybe Trickstar, but it looks really cool overall. But this is actually a Cyverse archetype, which I was totally right about this one, that it is actually a Cyverse archetype. When this was first revealed, I did say because of the way that it looked digital in the folds of the skirt, it might be a Cyverse archetype, and it looks like I'm right that this is actually going to be a Cyverse archetype. So let's go ahead and check out and see what these cards do. So this card is a level 3 Dark Cyverse effect monster that has 1200 attack and 300 defense points with 3 different effects. Since you can only use the first and third effect of this card once per turn. If this card is normal or special summon, you can set a Malice trap from your deck with a different name from the cards in your graveyard. That's a pretty neat effect, that it does let you set something with a different name than the cards in your graveyard. For its second effect, you take no battle damage from battles involving your Malice Link monsters, this card, or that point to this card. And for its third effect, if this card becomes banished, you can pay 300 life points to special summon it. Also, you cannot special summon the extract for the rest of the turn except Cyverse, or except for Link monsters, which is totally fine. It's not even locking you into Cyverse, it's just locking you into Link monsters, which is not that big of a deal because they're basically some of the best monsters in the game are actually Link monsters, but that's totally fine. So for the next card, we have Malice Pawn Cheshire Cat. This is actually really cool because the tail is actually a USB, is the first thing I noticed. That's really cool. I love the artwork of these cards. They look so cool. I'm really excited to play this archetype. So for this card, it's also a level 3 Dark Cyverse effect monster. This one has 1500 attack and 300 defense, which I think the previous monster also had 300 defense points as well, which is kind of neat. I wonder if that's going to be the theme of this. This card also has the ability that you can only use the first and third effect of this card once each per turn. That during your main phase, you can banish a Malice card from your hand, then draw 2 cards. That is really strong to just draw 2 cards by just banishing a Malice monster, because the first monster, the White Rabbit, had the ability, if it becomes banished, you pay 300 to special summon it. That's really strong because you can banish, draw 2, pay 300, bring back 1, get an effect, and get a search. That's really good. And for the second effect, monsters destroyed by a battle with a Malice Link monster that points to this card are banished instead of being sent to the graveyard. That's a pretty powerful effect. It's not a blanket macrocosmos. They do have to be destroyed by battle, which is not that big of a deal to be able to do, but it's a pretty powerful effect to be able to use. And for its third effect, if this card becomes banished, you can pay 300 life points, special summon it. Also, you cannot special summon from the extract for the rest of the turn except for Link monsters. Again, not that big of a deal. Some of the best monsters in the entire game are actually Link monsters, but it looks like the Malice monsters are going to be sharing that ability for that third effect. So for the next card, we have Malice Pawn Dormouse, which is actually really cool. I love the artwork of this one. The yellow really is cool. Like, you can see the teacups and everything. That's really neat. And this card is a level 3 Dark Cyverse effect monster. All of them are level 3 Dark Cyverse effects. This card has 900 attack and 300 defense points. So all of them have that 300 defense points, just like you have to pay 300 life points to bring them back. And this card has the ability that during your main phase, you can banish a Malice monster from your deck. Also, all Malice monsters you control gain 600 attack for the rest of the turn, which is a pretty cool effect to give you a little bit of a boost. Not that much of a boost, but being able to banish one directly from the main deck is really strong because it just lets you pay the 300 with the third effect to just bring them back to your side of the field and swarm. This looks like a really good swarm deck to be able to just swarm a bunch of monsters out on your side of the field and go for your Link summons. And it seems really easy to be able to Link climb, especially with the card that I see below, which is actually going to be our first Link monster for this archetype. This card's second effect is Malice Link monsters that point to this card cannot be destroyed by card effects, which is a pretty good protection for your Link monsters. And for its third effect, it shares just like the other two ones, that if this card becomes banished, pay 300, special summon it, but it locks you into Link monsters for the rest of the turn. For the first Link monster, we have Red Ransom. This card looks really good. Malice Queen Red Ransom. That's really cool. I love the artwork of this because you actually see like pawns around it, and they kind of look like almost like thumbtacks, which is really neat, but they are pawns, which is really neat. So this card actually is a Link 3 Dark Cyverse Link effect monster with 2,300 attack points. There's a lot of 3s in this archetype as well, as you notice. And this card is a left, right, and bottom Link arrow, which is not too bad. You're usually going to want to summon this into a main monster zone so it can point with both of those arrows to your Malice monster so it can get effects. But this card has 3 effects as well. That if this card is special summon, you can add a Malice spell from your deck to your hand. The original attack and defense of all effect monsters that your opponent controls are swapped while this card points to a monster. That's really strong. So this card is just walking shield and sword. That's really insane because that's going to mess up a lot of different decks and going to be really cool to be able to play against because it's just going to flip the attack and defense points of the monsters, which is really going to shake the game up. And for its third effect, if this card becomes banished, you pay 900 life points, special summon it, then you can banish a Cyverse monster from your deck, which all the previous ones are Cyverse, so you can banish them as well. And something else to note is you can play cards like Dotscaper as well because they can bring themselves back, which might be a one of tech in this deck as well. Because this does just require 2+ monsters, including a Malice monster, and you can only use the first and third effect of this card's name once each per turn. That's pretty cool. I really like this card overall. The artwork is fantastic. This is actually the archetype I'm looking forward to the most out of all of these. And like, it's really lived up to the hype. So the next one is going to be Malice Queen Hearts of Cipher. That's really cool. I really like this one. This one's really neat looking. I love the artwork. But this is Malice Queen of Hearts. That's really cool that they actually make the Queen of Hearts that boss monster for the deck. So this card has 2,500 attack points, is a Link 3 Dark Link Cyverse effect monster with a top, bottom, and left bottom and right bottom arrow with an up and bottom left, bottom right arrow, which is basically the same thing as I believe Decode Talker, which is kind of neat. So this card actually has 2 effects that you can only use the first and second effect of this card once each per turn. That the first effect is quick effect. You can target one of your banished Malice cards, shuffle it in the deck, and if you do, banish 1 card on the field. This effect and its activation cannot be negated if it points to a monster. This card is a speed spell for non-targeting banish. That is really strong. Oh my god. That just is a non-target, and it's a quick effect too, so that means you can do it during yours and your opponent's turn, and it's ridiculously easy to get your Malice cards banished. Like, that's insane. And it recycles a resource, and then it just banishes something non-targeting off the field. And that's insane. Okay, wow. And it's 2,500 attack, which is okay for attack points, but if this card becomes banished, you can pay 900 life points, special summon. If you do, this card's attack becomes doubled. This card goes to 5,000. What? Okay. Random 5,000 attack point boss monster that's a quick effect banish. Whoa, non-targeting. And it's 3 monsters, including a Malice. Okay, that's the only downside. You actually have to use 3 monsters to make this card. But that's not that big of a deal because you can just bring back your Malice cards that you get banished. That's really good. It does look like this is going to be a shifter deck, but it's not like everything you want to get banished, which is fine. But you can also use cards like Fisher, Macrocosmos, cards like Allure of Darkness, because they are dark monsters as well. So you can just banish them off Allure and get a free draw too. Pay 300, bring them back, and like it's a +3 off of Allure. Like, that's insane. That's really good for a boss monster though. Like, Queen of Hearts is just insane. So we do get a field spell as well, which I love the field spell. It's like Alice falling down into the Wonderland, but that's really cool. Malice in Underground. And it's a field spell that you can only activate 1 of this card per turn. When this card resolves, you can banish a Malice card from your hand, deck, or graveyard, which already starts your play, meaning that the field spell is actually a starter. That's really good because it kind of works like a E-Telly, kind of, sort of. But you banish one of your Malice cards, and then you just instantly bring it back by paying 300. This card is an instant 3 of in the deck because you want to activate this card, banish 1, pay 300, and bring it back to your side of the field. So it's basically E-Telly for the deck. For its second effect, Malice Link monsters you control gain 3,000 attack while you have 3 or more banished Malice traps with different names. Hold up a minute. So what you're telling me is that I can bring this back to my side of the field by paying 900, boost this thing to double its attack to 5,000, and then it also gains an additional 3,000. So it can go from 8 to 10,000. That is insane, dude. That is insane that this card is going to get that big. Like, that's insanely big to OTK the opponent. Like, that's really cool. I really like the field spell. Like, it's not a negate. We don't have a negate yet for the archetype. I don't know yet. We haven't read all the cards, but that's still really good, though. And for the third effect, if you control any Malice Link monsters, your opponent's monsters can only target them for attacks, which protects your smaller Malice monsters as well from being attacked. So they have to usually attack the Queen of Hearts, and she's acting like, I guess, a queen, protecting her subjects, which is really cool. So for the trap cards, this is actually Mad Hacker, which is really neat that actually they tied in Mad Hacker into the archetype. I hope they kind of give that card an errata where it actually counts as a Malice card when they reprint it. That would be really cool. So let's go ahead and see what this card actually does. So this is Malice code MTP 07, which MTP actually stands for Mad Tea Party 07, which refers to the chapter A Mad Tea Party, which is kind of cool. So I guess the cards are actually going to reflect with chapter counting as C, or code for C, and then whatever the initial is for the card, and then the basically the chapter name, and then whatever the chapter is with the 07. That's pretty cool. I really like that because it actually refers to the actual book. That's really cool. So this card has the ability to only activate one of this card per turn, and you can only activate this effect the turn, or you can activate this card the turn it was set by banishing one face-up Malice monster you control. I hope all the trap cards share that ability. That's insane. For the first effect, add a Malice monster from your deck to your hand. Then if you control a Malice Link monster, banish a card on the field. That is non-targeting Rhoda. That is literally non-targeting Rhoda. Are you kidding me? This deck is already so consistent, and that is so cool. Oh my god, that is insane. Okay, so for the next one, does this? That's funny. That gives me very like Spy X Family. Like, I think her name's Anya, like the Anya face, like that, the meme. That just makes me really think of that. But this card is actually Malice code GWC06, which GWC stands for Grin Without a Cat, which is actually for the chapter 6 Pig and Pepper, the chapter the quip is from. Okay, that's pretty cool that they're actually doing like a reference from the chapter. Okay, so this card has one effect. You can activate it the same turn it was set if you banish a face-up Malice card that you control, a Malice monster. And you get to special summon a Malice monster from your graveyard or your banishment. Then if you control a Malice Link monster, you can gain life equal to the summon monster's original attack. Okay, thanks for the random time card as well. Like, you're giving this archetype everything that it needs. If the next card is a negate, this archetype has everything. That is insane. We have multiple Rhodas. We have a big boss monster. We have everything. Like, this archetype has everything right out of the gate. That's insane. This could be tier 2 or like tier 1 maybe, depending on the next list. That's insane. And I really like to see this actually be tier 1 because it looks insane. Okay, so for the next one, we have Malice code TB11, which stands for TB probably means Twinkling Begins with a T. Which is from chapter 11 of the Alice in Wonderland Who Stole the Tarts, which is kind of cool. Okay, so this card only has one effect, that you can also banish a Malice monster that's face up that you control to be able to activate this card the same turn it was set. And for its first effect and only effect, you can special summon a Malice monster from the deck, or if your opponent controls 3 or more monsters, special summon a Malice Link monster from your extra deck instead. Whoa, that just instantly gives you a Malice Link monster. That's insane. If you just instantly get a Link monster out on your side of the field, and the summoned monster cannot attack or activate its effects this turn. And not great to be able to bring back the monster. I would rather just, maybe I'm not seeing it, but I would rather just special summon the Malice Link monster from the deck to instantly get that E-Telly trap. So this card has like 9 Rhodas in it. That's insane. Okay, so that's all of it. They do recommend Dotscaper for reprints, Aloof Lupine, Topologic Zero Boros, Allure of Darkness right there. I was right on the money with that one, and Dimensional Fisher with that. And then Signet Backdoor. That's an interesting tech card for this archetype as well. I could definitely see that being played. But this is really cool overall. Again, I kind of hope that they change the Mad Hackers effect or card text to count always as a Malice card. That'd be a super easy change if they get a rod of the card, because it's literally in the artwork of one of the cards. That'd be really nice to actually see it turned into a Malice card. But I love that it's actually referring to the chapters, because that means we could get upwards of all the chapters turned into spells and traps, which is really cool. We only have 3 traps to begin with, so to be able to get that double boost, you're going to have to be able to play all 3 of them, because basically you have to have Malice Link monsters gain 300 attack, while you have 3 more banished Malice traps with different names. So you do have to play all 3 of the different Malice trap cards, which is totally fine, because they're all really good, and I foresee cards like, I don't know, Allure of Darkness, Shifter, Dotscaper, the Firewall Dragon cards, all sorts of stuff like that being played in this archetype. Maybe even Parallel Izzy, because you're going to be link summoning a lot. But maybe we'll see stuff like, I feel like all this archetype really needs to be able to like really compete is maybe a counter trap or a big boss monster negate. That's all this archetype needs, I think. And this archetype would be insane. But maybe we'll be able to tech some Cyverse cards into it, maybe some Math Mech cards, maybe even some of the other like Code Talker cards into this archetype. It is interesting that they are dark, so we're going to be able to use interesting dark tech cards in here as well. So that's going to do for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I think this is the archetype that I'm the most excited for out of all of them. I really think that Malice is really good. The Racel is kind of cool for crossover breakers, but I feel like this one's the best one for me, in my opinion. They did wait to release this one until last, but overall artwork is phenomenal. I love the artwork. It looks amazing, and I'm definitely playing this deck. Definitely comment down below which one of the crossover breaker archetypes you're looking forward to the most. I'm looking forward to Malice. I think it's going to be awesome. I really like how they have the A upside down as well, because actually if you drop the A, it spells Alice, which is why they actually did this. But I really think it's super cool. I'm really excited for this archetype. So that's good for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.